In the wintry solitude of a small Oregon town, a tired woman's journey from Washington to California took an unexpected turn. Seeking respite for the night, she found herself drawn to an ancient hotel on the town's main street, its hallways steeped in a musty ambiance. Little did she know that her choice of room 310 on the third floor would thrust her into a chilling tale of the supernatural. A woman was driving home in California from Washington to California. It was late in the evening and starting to snow before she finally reached the small Oregon town where she intended to spend the night. She was tired and ready for a hot meal and a good night's sleep, and she stopped at the first place she arrived. It was an old hotel on the main street. The hallway had a musty smell. The bad employee behind the desk got caught here. Her room was on the third floor, room 310. One of the bellboys helped her carry her luggage. As soon as the door opened, a wave of hot air hit the woman's entire face. With the hot air came something else, something she couldn't identify but that filled her with fear. She explained that it was heavy and gloomy, with a strong smell of evil. She felt as if she was about to faint. All she said was, "It's too hot." The bell was manipulated with the radiator handles. Then he opened the window and left. The room began to cool, but the feeling of despair and dread became stronger. It was centered around the open square of the black window space. Horror seemed to speak in her mind. She thought she could feel a voice whispering to her, forcing her to do something terrible. "Go to the window," he said. "Throw yourself." She couldn't seem to resist the urge to jump out the window into what she knew would be certain death. She clawed at the bedsheets, trying to stop herself from walking towards the open window. Terrified, the woman finally gathered her strength and crawled out of the room. She ran into the lobby and shouted to the staff that she couldn't stay another minute. "I was sure that if I stayed up the night I would be dead by morning," she explained. She was willing to sacrifice the money she already paid just to leave, but when she went, the clerk never asked her what was wrong or if she wanted to try another room. He returned the full amount of cash to her. She checked into another hotel and planned to be on her way early the next morning. Instead, she decided to stay for a full day and look into the old hotel's history to see if she could discover the reason for her terrifying experience there. She visited the local library to make some inquiries. An old librarian sat behind the desk. "I'm just wondering," the woman said tentatively. "Did anything shocking happen at the old hotel?" The librarian looked at her strangely. She wondered, "How did you get to this part of history?" It took a long time for the hotel to squash the story. The librarian went on to tell us what had happened. One evening in 1948, a couple checked into the hotel as Mr. and Mrs. Oscar Smith. The next morning, hotel staff found the young woman's body lying on the sidewalk outside the hotel below room 310. The man who registered as her husband had disappeared. At first it was ruled a suicide, the librarian concluded, but then they opened her fist and found her holding a handful of dark, curly hair, not her own, so they searched for the killer, but he was never found. "By the way, isn't this a coincidence?" the librarian suddenly added. November 5th, 40 years ago yesterday,